Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my Week 1 previews and predictions. This video is for the game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chicago Bears. This is one of those games that I think is one of the more intriguing games of the week, where you have, an up-and-coming team like Cincinnati traveling to a team that had 10 wins last year in the Bears. The Bears going through a coaching change in the offseason. Mark Trestman, the offensive-minded coach in, longtime coach Lovie Smith out. Brian Urlacher obviously retiring. I really like with what the Bears did in the offseason, addressing their need both in free agency and in the draft on the offensive line, whether it was with Kyle Long, whether it was with Jermon Bushrod, of course, coming in from the Saints to give them that left bookend, protect Jay Cutler's blind side kind of tackle, a guy I think that's going to be important for the growth of Jay Cutler as he enters into this new offense. Of course, they still have Brandon Marshall in the fold. They bring Martellus Bennett in at tight end. But what I look for the Bears to be the biggest question mark with the Bears heading into this season is two things. Number one, can anyone step up opposite Brandon Marshall? If you look at the percentage of targets that he got compared to the rest of his teammates, it's really startling. And Trestman, from his days with the 49ers, in Steve Young's heyday, he was Steve Young's offensive coordinator. His specialty was spreading the ball around, and we'll see if they can make that happen. Does Alshon Jeffrey finally step up and be that guy opposite Brandon Marshall that people think he can be? Do we get a big year out of Matt Forte, both catching the ball and running the ball? These are things that are worth keeping an eye on. And on the defensive side of the ball, is this team able to force the level of turnovers they were last year? I mean, this is a team that was, top 3 in both interceptions, and forced fumbles. That stuff is hard to duplicate, that volume of turnovers. If they're not able to, is the defense able to hold up? These are just some of the questions with the Bears, but keep in mind, this was a 10-win team last year in a division that had 3 teams win 10 games or more. So this is a team has talent, as does the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals now 2 seasons in a row in the playoffs, 2 straight losses to the Texans in the playoffs. You now have Andy Dalton. They've got him some weapons around him, adding Tyler Eifert and Gio Bernard in the draft. Eifert, obviously, the big tight end from Notre Dame. Gio Bernard, the little, I don't want to say scat back, but the little all do everything back from North Carolina. And other than that, the Bengals as a whole have really built from within and built continuity, re-signed a lot of their own guys this year. I like the draft pick also of Sean Williams, the safety out of Georgia. We'll see how he fits in here. They recently, in the last couple days here, gave a contract extension to Geno Atkins, a guy who I think is, if you haven't seen him play, sort of like a Henry Melton from Chicago, but I think even another level up. If you haven't seen Geno Atkins play yet, he's definitely worth watching. Remember, this Bengals team, was 3rd in the league in sacks last year, only 2 behind 2 teams who actually were tied for the lead. And, I think people tend to forget that. And, the only question mark I have for the Bears heading into this game is that offensive line gelled, and can it handle a formidable task like this Bengals pass rush is going to present to them. And we'll see how this unfolds here. But, for a team like the Bears that relies on the big mistake, and a guy like Andy Dalton, who I don't think will succumb and make the big mistake, I don't think either team can match up with either team's stud receiver. I don't think the Bears have an answer for A.J. Green, and I don't think I don't think the Bengals have an answer for Brandon Marshall. So I think this game will come down to little things, a play here or there, possibly a turnover, possibly a fumble. That kind of stuff is very hard to predict. I really like both of these teams this year. I was a little sour on Cincinnati, maybe as of like 2 months ago or so. I didn't watch Hard Knocks, so that's not why I'm high on them now. But I think they're going to have a better season than I thought. In what is always a tough division. And I actually like, the pass rush of Cincinnati to be the difference in this game, as that Bears offensive line, which I think will eventually be good, as they sort of round into shape here and get used to the offense, and as Jay Cutler gets used to the offense as well. But I like Cincinnati on the road here, +3. to cover and win the game against the Bears. I know this won't be a popular pick with Bears fans. Again, I think the Bears are going to be good, but I think there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment period, and I don't think this defense is going to really force turnovers at the level that they did last year, which I think is pretty reasonable to expect, actually. So I like the Bengals +3 to go into Soldier Field and win this week in week 1. Let me know what you guys think. Hit me up in the YouTube comments. Hit me up on Twitter at SNewsAnalysis. Guys, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I preview every game every week here. If you check it out, I previewed every game this week, along with this, which I think, again, is going to be the under-the-radar, maybe game of the week here. 2 teams, 10-win teams from last year, squaring off in week 1. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day.